The rise of Steve Jobs, from garage to global icon. Humble beginnings, the garage that sparked a revolution. Before the billions, before the iPhones, and before the keynote stages, there was a simple garage in Los Altos, California. This wasn't just a place, it became a symbol of possibility. Steve Jobs, along with his childhood friend Steve Wozniak, began assembling computers in that cramped space with almost nothing but passion, a few spare parts, and a dream so bold it bordered on crazy. Steve Jobs wasn't born into privilege. He was adopted, dropped out of college, slept on friends' floors, and lived off free meals at Hare Krishna temples. But even in those moments, he never lost sight of what could be. That garage became their headquarters, where Apple's first product, the Apple I, was born. It wasn't fancy. But it was real. Jobs didn't wait for perfect conditions. He started with what he had, and that's the first lesson: don't wait to be great, start small, but start now. The garage reminds us all, your beginnings don't define your destination. The visionary mind, thinking different before the world did. Steve Jobs had something most people lack, the courage to think differently. When others saw limitations, he saw opportunity. He wasn't just creating products, he was building experiences. He believed that design mattered. Simplicity mattered. And most importantly, purpose mattered. When everyone was racing to build faster computers, Steve focused on making them beautiful, user-friendly, and a joy to use. He once said, "People don't know what they want until you show it to them." That was his genius. He didn't follow trends. He created them. Jobs showed the world that to rise above the noise, you must believe in your vision, even when no one else sees it yet. Think about that. How many times have you buried your ideas because they seemed too different? Steve Jobs proves that those ideas are exactly the ones that change the world. The birth of Apple, turning passion into a global brand. In 1976, the Apple Computer Company was officially born. What started as a side hustle turned into a revolution. Jobs and Wozniak sold their personal belongings, Steve even sold his VW van, to fund the dream. That's commitment. That's belief. Apple's early products weren't just machines, they were statements. The Apple II changed everything, becoming one of the first mass-produced personal computers in history. Jobs wasn't just selling tech, he was selling empowerment, putting the power of innovation into the hands of everyday people. Jobs' passion was infectious. His charisma, intensity, and obsession with perfection pushed his team to deliver products that were ahead of their time. He wasn't in it for quick success, he was in it to create something timeless. This is where you realize, passion, when combined with purpose, can become unstoppable. Jobs didn't wait for opportunity. He built it, pixel by pixel, product by product. Fall from grace, the setback that shaped a legend. Just as Apple was taking off, Steve Jobs faced the unthinkable. He was fired from the company he built. At 30 years old, the board of directors removed him from his own company. Imagine the humiliation. The heartbreak. The betrayal. Most people would have given up right there. But not Steve. He later said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that ever happened to me." Why? Because it forced him to reinvent himself. In that period of darkness, he founded NeXT, a computer company focused on education. He bought a small animation studio called Pixar, which eventually revolutionized the movie industry. Steve didn't let failure define him. He embraced it, learned from it, and came back stronger. That's the mark of a real leader, not how you rise, but how you rise after the fall. Jobs' journey teaches us a powerful truth: failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. If you're going through a tough time, remember, sometimes you have to lose everything, to gain clarity, strength, and the hunger to start again. The comeback king, reinventing himself and Apple. In 1997, something incredible happened: Steve Jobs returned to Apple. The very company that once let him go was now on the brink of collapse. Apple was bleeding money, irrelevant in the tech world, and close to shutting down. But when Jobs came back, everything changed. He didn't just resume his old position, he reimagined everything. He scrapped dozens of failing products, trimmed the fat, and focused Apple's energy on a clear, bold vision. Then came the iMac. Then the iPod. Then the iPhone. Each product wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural phenomenon. Steve Jobs didn't let the past define him. He used every lesson from failure to build a comeback story the world had never seen. His intensity, eye for detail, and obsession with perfection set new industry standards. Under his leadership, Apple became the most valuable company in the world. Think about that. He didn't just return, he dominated. He turned a broken company into a global empire. This wasn't luck. It was resilience, vision, and relentless belief in the impossible. Jobs proved that no matter how far you fall, you can always rise, stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. Lessons in leadership, what Steve Jobs taught the world. Steve Jobs was more than a tech genius, he was a master of leadership. He didn't just build teams, he built belief. He demanded the best, pushed people beyond their limits, and believed that a players hire a players. He was known to be intense, even difficult. But his standards weren't rooted in ego, they were rooted in excellence. Jobs knew that the world doesn't reward mediocrity. It rewards those who dare to stand out. He taught his team to care deeply about the user experience. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like, he said. Design is how it works. That mindset changed industries forever. Steve believed in storytelling. Every product launch was a performance. He didn't sell specs, he sold dreams. His charisma made people believe in what Apple stood for. He once said, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower." And that's what he became, a leader who challenged the norm, broke rules, and created a culture where the impossible became reality. From Jobs, we learn that leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being respected, being bold, and being brave enough to believe in something before it's real. Legacy of innovation, changing the world one idea at a time. Steve Jobs left behind more than products, he left a legacy that changed the way we live. From the music we listen to the phones in our pockets, to the way we connect with the world, his innovations are everywhere. The iPod didn't just change music, it revived an entire industry. The iPhone didn't just change phones, it redefined communication, entertainment, and business. The iPad opened a new world for artists, students, and entrepreneurs. Jobs wasn't just inventing, he was shaping the future. He brought art into technology. Simplicity into complexity. He fused emotion with innovation. His influence reached beyond Apple. He inspired generations of entrepreneurs to think big, start small, and move fast. His life became a blueprint for anyone chasing a dream, anyone daring to disrupt the status quo. Even after his passing, Apple continues to thrive because of the culture and vision he embedded into the company's DNA. Steve Jobs showed us what's possible when passion, vision, and persistence collide. His legacy teaches us that one person with an idea can change the world, and that someone could be any one of us. Your takeaway: how to apply Steve Jobs' mindset in your own life. Steve Jobs didn't have a secret formula, what he had was belief, vision, and action. And so do you. You don't need millions in the bank to start. You need a garage. A notebook. An idea. A spark. Jobs started with nothing, but he believed in his vision when no one else did. Here's your takeaway. Think differently. Don't settle for what the world gives, create what it lacks. Fail forward. Use setbacks as springboards, not stop signs. Be bold. The world rewards risk-takers, not comfort seekers. Chase excellence. Not perfection, but a relentless pursuit to be better, every day. Start now. Because waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of fear. Steve Jobs was one of us, flawed, human, but determined. And if he could rise from a garage to global greatness, why can't you? This is your time. This is your story. Make it iconic. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel Rise and Grind Nation for more interesting and life-changing videos.